Peugeot's 308 family hatch gets far more polish in this third generation, guys, with smarter packaging, extra engineering options and a bit more useful technology. The result is a more desirable product than you might expect from this familiar Gallic brand. You might be surprised at how much you'd like it.
With this third generation 308, Peugeot seeks a return to the reputation it enjoyed 40 years ago, when its humblest family hatches were marked by an engaging degree of handling excellence. The unusual cockpit dash design that sees you peering over a small, low-set steering wheel at a slick-looking virtual dial pack suggests a welcome level of potential drive engagement, which turns out to be largely realised, thanks to well-judged firm-style damping, plenty of cornering traction and decent body control. All of this is best enjoyed at the wheel of the lightest model in the range, the 1.2-litre PureTech 130 petrol version, which, like all the other variants, can only be had with automatic transmission and manages up to 52.1 mpg on the combined cycle and up to 122 grams per kilometre of CO2. The alternative conventional engine on offer, a 1.5-litre blue HDI diesel, has the same power output but carries a little more weight. Not as much more, though, as the two hybrid models, one of which we're trying here. There's a choice of 180 horsepower, or as in this case, 225 horsepower outputs, and in both cases, a 1.6-litre petrol PureTech engine is mated to a 109 horsepower electric motor, which is powered by a 12.4 kilowatt-hour battery, capable of taking the car up to 37 miles between charges, and typically takes around 3.5 hours. There's also a full electric variant, the E308, which offers 154 horsepower and has a battery of 50 kilowatt hours of usable capacity and can go around 250 miles each time you plug it in. You might well decide, though, that less is more when it comes to your choice of 308. From a car small in steering wheel and entry-level curb weight, that's really reinvested itself here. Peugeot design is currently reinterpreting what compact hatchbacks can look like. With its second generation 208, the company redefined modern super mini styling, and there's a strong argument for suggesting that much the same has been achieved here with this third generation 308 family hatch, that model's larger showroom stablemate. It's perhaps not quite as visually appealing, but it certainly makes a pavement statement. As before, there are hatch and SW estate body styles, both of which have plenty of overtaking presence. There's a longer looking bonnet than before, with a prominent bulge and a lower looking nose bearing the latest, rather different Peugeot badge on its grille, which reinterprets the company's 1960s iconography and is large enough to cover the radar needed for the autonomous driving aids. In profile, existing owners might notice the extra 11mm of length this time around, and the prominent creases that have appeared over the wheel arches, which sit below a stronger shoulder line. At the rear, the LED tail lamps seem almost impossibly thin, decorated on the GT models with a distinctive 3-claw lighting signature, and above base trim linked by this glossy centre strip. Everything's very in your face and angular, and virtually everything you touch feels tactile and of high quality. And as with this model's direct predecessor, the first thing you're going to have to decide is whether you can get on with the distinctive cockpit dash design with its tiny steering wheel, above which, rather than through which, you're supposed to view the instruments. The little gauges you view now of the virtual variety displayed on a 10-inch screen are unusual too, but all the information shown is clear and easy to assimilate, and the screen layout gets clever 3D graphics. The central monitor is also 10 inches in size, but is deeper and more informative, underscored by a row of what Peugeot calls toggle switches, which here operate the climate features but can be reprogrammed for other functions if you wish. Normally, you'd expect this central screen layout to flow down into the lower part of the centre stack, but the designers clearly felt more storage space could be freed up by separating out this angular lower console with its diminutive little impulse selector gear shifting switch. Lumbar adjustment comes as standard for the beautifully upholstered seats. With the exception of restricted rear three-quarter vision, the ergonomics are fine and build quality from the French Mulhouse factory is difficult to fault. Right, time to take a look in the rear. Well, it's certainly not what you'd call spacious back here, or at least it won't be if you've front seat folk of at least average height sitting ahead of you, but with the exception of Skoda's Octavia. No obvious rival in this class does much better. As at the front though, classy finishing makes up for much. The way the interior part of this centre armrest is trimmed, for instance, is a far cry from a mediocre class norm. Finally, let's take a look out back. Conventionally engined 308s offer 412 litres back here. The capacity figure for this Peugeot that we just quoted doesn't apply in this case because we're testing the hybrid version, restricted by the size of the underfloor battery to 361 litres, which is much the same as you'd get from the all-electric E308. Obviously, because of its slightly higher roofline, the SW Estate version has a larger boot, 608 litres in size in conventional variants, or 548 litres if you opt for a hybrid. Fold everything flat and a conventional 308 hatch will offer you 1,323 litres of capacity, or 1,271 in this hybrid. For the SW Estate, the seats' folded figures are 1,634 litres with a conventional model, or 1,574 litres with a hybrid. Peugeot isn't just building a car with this third-generation 308, it's building a reputation. For too long, this much-loved brand lost sight of what made people want its products. Now it's setting out to build desirable machines once more, models that aren't simply playing catch-up or trying to copy the big sellers. Sure enough, this is a vehicle with a definite feel of its own. It's not going to appeal to everybody, but it is now a car that the company can rightly feel proud of. A contender good enough to worry the best in the business. Of course, you may not like the sharky looks, and the unusual i-cockpit dash design is certainly divisive, so try before you buy. Overall, though, what's on offer here is a car that's continuing to restore Peugeot's reputation for building elegant, comfortable and understated vehicles. A car that gives the brand a shot at making good on its upmarket aspirations. It's been a long time coming.